Welcome back to Winter Day 18 of the Stardew Valley Min-Max and 100% Perfection Guide. Today, we will be taking on Mr. Key's Skull Cavern Invasion Challenge, where we have to make it to floor 100 in an upgraded Skull Cavern with much tougher enemies. But with the increased difficulty also comes increased rewards, most notably the addition of a new type of ore to the cavern, radioactive ore. We will, of course, be able to make it to floor 100 without any issue, but our real goal here is to collect as much radioactive ore as possible. We will also, of course, go for lots of iridium ore, monster drops, and other loot as well, and to make this happen, we will utilize lots of bombs, the Galaxy Hammer smash attack, pausing and ring swapping, and using crafted staircases to skip undesirable floors. And luck just happens to be on our side today as well, as it is a super luck day, which we will pair with 2 magic rock candies to yield the best result from looting Skull Cavern. If you are new here, consider checking out my other videos of this min-max guide, where I go through my daily process of making as much money as possible and achieving the perfection goals, both in as little time as I can. And if you're short on time, consider checking out my monthly recap videos where I give a nice overview of the run. Or, if you'd just like to see some Skull Cavern action, well, let's go ahead and get started with the gameplay. We did manage to get a very early start here at Skull Cavern. It is only 6:20 a.m., so we only used 20 in-game minutes trying to get our stuff from yesterday organized in our chests, and we're at Skull Cavern already. So right off the bat, you saw I entered a floor. That was the spiral floor, so of course I am going to exit and reset the floor, and we've got a floor here that is not too desirable, but it does have a radioactive ore node, so that is one of the things that we are really trying to get here, trying to get as much radioactive ore as possible, so of course we'll be going for that. Unfortunately, it doesn't spawn a ladder down, but we do have some enemies here that we can quickly slay, and with our napalm ring explode some of the rocks nearby, but unfortunately we do not get a ladder down, so we will use a crafted staircase here because the floor still has lots of rocks and enemies, so we will just be skipping all of these floors right here that are very undesirable. The ones that are lengthy, have lots of rocks or enemies, that will just be a lot quicker to skip. The floors that we will, of course, spend our time on are floors with lots of rocks that we can easily blow up, and small floors where it'll be more likely to get a staircase because there are less nodes to blow up, especially the floors without any enemies, although in the upgraded Skull Cavern here, there will most likely be enemies on every floor. And we do come across a treasure floor, just a red cowboy hat, not very exciting, just a vanity item, so if our inventory gets full, which it certainly will in a bit, we will just end up trashing that item. We make it down to a floor with 2 radioactive ore nodes, so that is very nice. We will of course blow those up. Mining them does take quite a few hits, so it is faster to just blow them up, or try to line up the enemies and use our napalm ring to explode the nodes. And you'll see me ring swap there, and every time I go down a floor I would like to have my luck rings on. The one combined ring there is a luck ring combined with an iridium band, but the +2 luck will allow us to have a greater chance at finding ore nodes on each floor, a better chance of finding ladders down, and so on. This floor here didn't seem too appealing at first, but the gold ore is valuable to us for crafting mega bombs, and I just happen to be very short on gold, so we will be trying to collect lots of gold. I will have to double back here to collect the gold ore, but luckily our iridium band helps with that. And we will ring swap when slaying the slime right here with our napalm ring so that we can destroy some rocks as we slay some enemies. This floor would be a good one to skip with a crafted staircase, but I don't want to use too many because I only have 63 left, which is a good amount, but I may want to use them during a different Skull Cavern dive, but we will still of course use them on floors that are very undesirable. We will now consume our first magic rock candy of the day, which technically should have been eaten at 7:20 a.m. The magic rock candy buff lasts for 8 minutes and 24 seconds of real life time, not counting when the game is paused. This equates to 504 seconds of real life time, which we can convert into in-game time by dividing this number by the amount of real seconds in one game hour. Now, during a typical Stardew day, a game hour will last for 43 real seconds, but in Skull Cavern, time moves slower, and a game hour will last for 54 real seconds. 504 divided by 54 is 9 1/3, which means the magic rock candy buff will last for 9 hours and 20 minutes of in-game time. We can now use this result to find the best times to use the magic rock candy in Skull Cavern. We assume we want the buff until we pass out at 2 a.m., so if we subtract the buff duration from that time, we find the best time to use the second magic rock candy is 4:40 p.m. We will subtract the buff duration from this time now to find 7:20 a.m. as the best time to use the first magic rock candy. So for the 2 magic rock candies in one day at Skull Cavern, we want to use the first at 7:20 a.m. and the second at 4:40 p.m. We ate our magic rock candy at 7:50 a.m., so we are only losing 30 in-game minutes, which is not that big of a deal. We have now made it down a few floors using the magic rock candy buff, and the +5 luck seems to be showing. The previous and current floor both had quite a few radioactive ore nodes, and if you remember from our last time doing the key Skull Cavern invasion quest, we barely got any radioactive ore, so the magic rock candy is certainly paying off. Another nice thing about this floor is we get a bag of coal, and every coal we get is one less coal we'll have to buy from Clint. Anyways, we make it to a small floor like this, and although there isn't a large number of rocks, we still have a good chance of getting a ladder down from blowing up these rocks since there is a small amount of them. We make it down to another large floor, and it is filled with mummies. You'll see how effective the hammer is against these mummies that don't really get knocked back by using our smash attack, by using the special attack button on the hammer, and then spam clicking the regular attack button. For me, the special attack is right click, and then I spam the left click button, which is the regular attack, in order to deal tons of damage to the mummies all at once. And then I do notice there was a ladder all along, so I just go ahead down the ladder. There's also a ladder on this floor, which we will try to go over to as quick as possible. Whenever there is a ladder already on a floor, it makes sense to just take it down rather than waste any more time on the floor unless there is something valuable on the floor, for example radioactive ore, which we can see on this floor. And here we have been ambushed by a whole bunch of serpents, which do deal quite a bit of damage, so we need to make sure we stay healed up at all times. If we do have a little bit of health remaining, we don't want to take the risk of taking damage from any of the enemies because it could very well knock us out, which we don't want happening because that calls for a restart of the day, which is very time consuming. We have now found a prehistoric floor, or dinosaur floor as I call it, which usually I will skip, but on this type of floor, the horizontally long ones with the minecart track will always have a guaranteed ladder all the way to the right. However, walking to that ladder takes quite a bit of valuable time, so often I will skip these floors with a crafted staircase. And there is actually even greater reason to do so on the dinosaur floors, because remember how I mentioned time moves slower in Skull Cavern at 54 seconds per game hour? Well, for some reason, the dinosaur floors move at normal game speed at 43 real seconds per hour. So in-game time is going faster, which means we are wasting our precious time faster whenever we are on the dinosaur floors. And coincidentally, we stumble upon another one of these minecart track floors but this one has a radioactive ore node, which is very nice. We will, rather than skipping it, just do the same thing and go all the way to the right, and there are some benefits to walking all the way over there. One, we save on a staircase, which we do want to save for other runs. We don't want to just use a crazy amount of staircases just like that. And we do get some radioactive ore, which was just lucky, but the coal cart right there, which unfortunately it's not full, but sometimes there's a chance for coal to be in that cart and we can get some more coal. But honestly, coal is pretty cheap during the first year from Clint, so I probably should be taking more advantage of getting coal from Clint. We do get lucky with 2 key gems from that big purple slime, and the key gems are something we definitely want, and of course completing this quest will reward us with 40 key gems. And the sooner we get a whole bunch of key gems, the sooner we can get all of the cool upgrades with them from the golden walnut room as well. And we do get lucky with an additional key gem from that slime right there. The next floor is the infamous spiral floor, so of course we skip that and head down to the next floor, where we do get very lucky with a ladder right off the bat. And on this floor we can see a radioactive ore node, which of course we'll go for. And you will notice I will usually smash the crates if I can access them. I do already have 2 luck rings, so I'm not going for another lucky ring, but I still can get loot from the crates, so we will still smash them if they are conveniently located. We won't go out of our way to smash open crates or anything. And right here, we were able to down quite a few mummies, which will now be able to blow up, and a 2-for-1 for the rocks and the mummies at the same time is always nice. And then we'll be able to make it to the next floor, where there is another huge swarm of mummies. There is a ladder right off the bat there, but we will try to slay all of these mummies and see how many we can just blow up at once. I will have to place the bomb down pretty quickly here, and there we go. It is always lots of fun to blow the mummies up all at once like that, and hear their shrieks and see the 999 damage indicators all at once like that. We will skip some of these floors here and then come to another floor, which I definitely should have skipped, but I see the mummies and want to blow them up with the rocks and hopefully get a ladder from them. Unfortunately, this floor is pretty large, so this single bomb blowing up the mummies and rocks isn't really as good of a chance at getting a ladder as other floors where there is a lot fewer number of rocks, but I do decide to just skip this floor rather than wasting more time on it. So it is better to use the staircase from the start rather than spending a bunch of time on the floor and then using it after. We do get lucky on this floor though and find a hole right away, and I will just go straight down the hole rather than dealing with those mummies there. Then we find ourselves at a floor with a bunch of magma bats here, which is interesting. You don't see these very often in the upgraded Skull Cavern, but I will take the time to slay all of them because the bat wings can come in handy for the monster musk. You need 30 per monster musk, and as you can see there, we got 29 from those few bats there. On this floor here, we are able to blow up some mummies and rocks and uncover a hole, and I do put on my luck rings before going down the hole, although this is really not necessary for the amount of levels. The amount of levels, although we do get very lucky there with 13 levels, the amount of levels dropped by the hole is actually not dependent on luck and is predetermined by the seed and dependent on the floor that you are on currently. So that's why our luck will not have any effect on that. But having the increased luck going onto a new floor is helpful because it'll increase our chances at finding ore nodes and treasure floors. We get a secret note here, and it is secret note number 16, which is an X marks the spot. If we dig in that spot up by the railroad, we get a treasure chest, which is 5000 G, so not too bad. Although preferably, I would have liked to get secret note number 17, which is another X marks the spot, where we can dig it up for a green strange doll, which is an artifact, and the last artifact we need now to complete the museum. If you noticed, I actually got a palm fossil earlier today, digging up an artifact spot in the desert, right before we headed into Skull Cavern, and that's the other thing that I need to donate. So we have that, and then we just need the green doll, which will most easily be obtained once we get secret note 17. We've made it to only floor 63, which is not very deep compared to some of our prior Skull Cavern runs, but what does make up for that is we did get quite a bit of radioactive ore already, which is nice. We still have about half of the run left to go still, and we are met with a floor full of mummies. You'll see me trying to wrangle them up so that I can use my smash attack and hit them all at once and try to slay them all at once so that I can lay down a mega bomb here, and we'll see if we can slay any more while the bomb is detonating. And then look at that, look at all of those mummies. And I'm not blowing all the mummies up just for fun, although it is pretty fun, but the main reason is because the mummies drop solar essence, and we need lots of solar essence as well as void essence, but void essence is a little bit easier to come by from the serpent, but we need both of those in crafting mega bombs, which you can see we craft lots and lots of mega bombs. And the burglar's ring, with its increased drop chances, will give us even more solar essence from the mummies, so we want to make sure we equip that when we do slay the mummies, as it really makes a big difference. We are starting to see quite a few more iridium nodes, which is due to the fact that we are getting deeper, and more radioactive ore nodes as well, as their frequency also increases the further we go down, although the iridium node frequency increases at a much faster rate than the radioactive ore nodes do. The magic rock candy bonus does seem to be helping us find quite a bit of ores as well, as we're getting a lot more than we did in the last run, and it is almost at that time where we will need to renew our magic rock candy bonus. As you can see, the icons are blinking up there, and we will get ready to use that right as that one runs up. Remember, the optimal time to use the second one is 4:40 p.m., but we used ours 30 minutes late, so 30 minutes after 4:40 is 5:10, so we're right on the dot there. We go ahead and eat that second magic rock candy. We're all buffed up and ready to continue downward. On this floor there is a pre-spawned ladder, which is always nice, and then this floor is filled with mummies and not a whole lot of nodes. But I will see if I can get a ladder from blowing up the mummies and rocks, but unfortunately I don't, and I don't find it worth my time to stay on that floor, so I do skip it and continue downwards to this floor, which was a lot nicer and smaller, and then this floor we will skip rather than walking all the way over. And here we are met with quite a few serpents, and you will see a good example of my ring swapping, where I switch to the napalm ring and trying to use it to blow up the rocks rather than having to mine the rocks or waste a bomb mining them. I can just lure the enemies towards the nodes and then slay them right on top of them, and then they blow up due to the napalm ring explosion, which is very nice. I will then manually mine some of them with my pickaxe, and sometimes it goes a little bit faster than waiting for the enemies to come to you, and then I can get down quicker. Here is another example of ring swapping. When I want to slay the serpents, I do want my enemy slaying rings on, but when mining the radioactive ore, I want to go back to my +1 luck rings so that I can get an increased chance of getting more ore and an increased chance of a ladder spawning. We do get a ladder spawn here, and we'll continue down after mining the iridium, of course. And this floor is definitely a skippable floor, although I do see some enemies and have some potential to blow up some rocks with my napalm ring. So I do try to go for that and do get lucky with a ladder right there, so we'll continue down. This floor is a very long vertical floor, so I probably will skip it as I do there. And here there are quite a few rocks and enemies, so I will try to blow up the rocks while slaying the enemies at the same time. And we do get a ladder. Then on this floor, it is noticeably scarce of rocks, but we are trying to not use a staircase here. And we do get lucky and get a ladder, which leads to a treasure floor, and we get a red slime egg, which I advise not to sell like I just did there, as they are worth quite a bit of money. We do get an interesting looking infested floor here, and then we are led to another treasure floor. These floors are increased with our daily luck and luck buffs, so it makes sense that we are getting quite a few of them. This is just an auto grabber, which I probably should get rid of since I already have 2 for my barn and coop, so I don't really need any more. we are met with a star floor, which is always a very nice floor, as you can usually mega bomb the middle and cover most of the rocks on the floor. But here I'm going to be using a cherry bomb since I've got a couple of those to use, and you'll notice that we have the napalm ring on, and the mummies are affected by the napalm ring. Once we blow them up with the bomb, they will have a secondary explosion with the napalm ring, although it's usually not noticeable because you're usually blowing up the mummies with a mega bomb, but right there, it was a little bit more noticeable with the cherry bomb, and you could see it. We do get a whole 8 levels, not too bad, and we do hit floor 100, which completes our key goal of reaching floor 100 for the Skull Cavern Invasion Challenge, and we were awarded 40 key gems. We get pretty lucky here with quite a few gold nodes, and I always want more gold ore because it is the main ingredient in mega bombs, so we always need more gold. We also want gold bars for crystallariums, so there are quite a few different things that are going to eat up our gold, so we always want more. On this floor we are ambushed by a couple of serpents, but we use our smash attack to fend them off right away. You should always be ready for serpents coming right at you whenever you enter a new floor, as they come very quickly and they can catch you off guard. We'll try to slay the iridium bats here as they do have some nice drops, and we'll try to blow up the rocks at the same time. And then this floor is a nice one to bomb since it's pretty small, and we do get a ladder there, so we'll head down. This floor right here isn't the best, but we will try to slay some enemies over some rocks, and we do get lucky with a ladder there. And we hit the same floor, so I'm just going to skip it, skip the spiral floor of course. And then this floor right here, there is quite a few rocks and some iridium nodes over there. And it looks like we just slayed our slime number 1000. We have slayed 1000 slimes in this save now, which completes the monster slayer goal for slaying slimes. That does unlock us the slime charmer ring, which is a nice defensive tool. It makes us take no damage from slimes, but we probably won't be using it since we can always just heal up when taking damage from slimes. You may have noticed that I do have 2 rings that have not been combined yet. I do have a lucky ring that I will eventually combine with another iridium band because those do stack, and having the double iridium band and double lucky rings are always nice. Then my hot java ring, and combining that is a little bit tougher because I wanted to have a bonus that pairs nicely with my other enemy slaying rings, such as the hot java ring, the burglar's ring, and the napalm ring. And the ring that seems to fit best with this is the savage ring, which after slaying an enemy gives a 3-second plus 2 speed bonus. So that combined with our coffee plus food buff speed will give us a plus 4 speed total, which is pretty insane. We will be going very quickly because we do slay enemies pretty frequently, so it should be worth it for sure. We are getting towards the end of the day. It is almost midnight and we are at floor 118, which is pretty decent. We will try to blow up those mummies right there, and we do get a secret note from them. Let's see if it's any good. We really just want secret note 17, but we'll see in a moment what this one will be after I blow up this floor and continue down. It is just a secret note that tells us about the battery, placing the battery in the tunnel. So we've already done that, so not too exciting. We will keep going down and try to keep getting as much iridium ore and radioactive ore as possible. We are doing pretty well with radioactive ore. We've got 81, which is a pretty good amount. Iridium ore, not as much. We've definitely gotten a lot more in the past, but that's alright. We are pretty deep down, and these floors, the last couple hours here in the mines, are going to be the ones where we get the most amount of ore, the most radioactive ore and the most iridium ore, so we want to make them count. If there's a floor with not a lot of ore, we'll definitely skip it, but if there is a good amount of ore, and of course gold ore is good too, we will blow up the ore and try to gather that ore. And radioactive ore is the whole reason we have come here, so I will go for the radioactive ore. And we do get a secret note from the bat, so we'll go ahead and read this one, see what it is, and it is secret note 17, finally, so that's pretty good, although I don't have many secret notes left, so we were bound to get it eventually, but this is good. We can now dig up that spot, get the green strange doll, and have that with the palm fossil, and those will be the two last things to donate to the museum. Anyway, we will continue mining downwards until we pass out, which will bring us to the end of this day and the end of this video. We had a pretty good haul today at Skull Cavern with 91 radioactive ore. Although we did not get as much iridium ore as usual, only 313, but that's okay because we were focused on the key challenge, which did reward us with 40 key gems. We will definitely be spending those next time in the key walnut room, and for sure we will pick up the horse flute, which will be a huge time saver. We will also start focusing on some of the goals we can complete in Reach, such as catching every fish, completing the museum, and the slaying goals. And of course, we will continue to make as much money as possible from continuing our starfruit wine production. If you are looking forward to what's to come, please consider subscribing so you can be sure to see the videos when they come out. Feel free to leave a comment with anything you'd like to say. Perhaps share any tips you have for getting lots of radioactive ore and other loot during the Skull Cavern invasion quest. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye.